Yesterday we talked about the article that Jason Schreier wrote, What Went Wrong with Dragon Age: The Veilguard on Bloomberg. He talked about all of the things that contributed to the flop, the ultimate disaster, and what went on behind closed doors. And what he failed to mention, or what was failed to be discussed during that time, was the role that the anti-woke mafia played in this entire thing. Okay? And now there's been a little bit more conversation spilling over into Forbes, or Paul Tassi, if you will. And we got to talk about it. But before we do, I don't normally do this, but I got to do it now. Because, all right, I normally don't beg, but now we in the begging session of the video, okay? I need you guys to do one thing for me. Of course, like always, like the video, subscribe to the channel. But I need y'all to make sure y'all turn on that notification bell, okay? A lot of YouTubers are experiencing a phenomenon with the algorithm to where people are not seeing their videos anymore. I need y'all to turn that notification bell on, man. Or I'm going to have to send you guys free tickets to FatCon, all right? You'll be there with me and Kata experiencing that nonsense. If you don't want that, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell, okay? All right, let's go ahead and get into it. So this comes after Paul Tassi, he retweeted and shared Jason Schreier's What Went Wrong with Dragon Age: The Veilguard. Now, we already talked about some of the stuff that went on behind closed doors, so we're not going to reiterate that, right? But this guy, Daniel Friedman, responds, okay? He says, despite all the BioWare higher-ups that he talked to, he intentionally missed the story. This game failed because it was defined in the minds of its audience by YouTubers making fun of its quest about pronouns. This is the game that proved that approval from ASMONGOLD matters more than approval from IGN for launching a successful game. Man, that is a loaded comment. That is a loaded comment. Okay. So many angles I want to go at with this, all right? He did miss the story. This game failed because it was defined in the minds of its audience by YouTubers making fun of its quest about pronouns. I don't know about that. I don't know. While it can be true that the discourse around the narrative of the game and the dialogue was a detriment to the overall health of the game, people were already out on this game before it came out. They absolutely positively was. And considering that we didn't know about the pronoun dialogue until the game actually hit the shelves, I would have to disagree with that comment. People were out on this game when they saw the initial gameplay and they saw it and they said, this is not Dragon Age. This is not what I thought I waited 10 years for the next Dragon Age for. I didn't know this is what I was getting. So I sort of disagree with that. This is the game that proved approval from ASMONGOLD matters more than approval from IGN for launching a successful game. I agree. ASMONGOLD and the rest of us YouTubers are not the end all be all. There's games that I think are trash that went on to be successful. And there's games that I think are awesome that, you know, went on to flop. Same with ASMONGOLD. Okay. I've watched several ASMONGOLD videos and I could tell that he's not hip to a lot of stuff. All right. Keep in mind, ASMONGOLD spent a lot of good time playing, like, you know, Warcraft and stuff like that. It continues. So Paul Tassi quote tweeted this. He said, it's easy to push back on this, but when the woke debates consume literally an entire online marketing campaign, that can in fact be damaging. And yes, ASMONGOLD trashing something does actually matter. Now, like it or not. Not that you should cater to that, but it's where we are. And that's a factual statement. It's facts. It's the truth. All right. The fact of the matter is, if you make a game and gamers are lukewarm on it or worse, and ASMONGOLD covers it, you're in trouble. Then ASMONGOLD responds. He says, while I'm sure making videos is a rallying point, the reality is that most people consume content that reinforces what they already believe. There are people who adamantly defend woke games, but no one watches them because those ideas and viewpoints are inherently unpopular. That is a fact. Okay? There's this idea that we as YouTubers are making you guys think the things that you're thinking. No. The reason why I have an audience is because I'm saying things that people already thought and it was unpopular to say. Okay? Paul Tassi goes, the term influencer exists for a reason. People like you or Rogan or whoever also shape views on topics, not just as a mirror. That's a lie. That's not the truth. And that's denial. That is delusion. That is pure just a misunderstanding of what's going on here. On top of that, negative content will get 10 times the attention as the positive, which applies to the whole anti-woke industry and why it's successful. That there is a lot of truth to that. I won't deny that. There's a lot of truth to that. It's part of the reason why I stopped doing reviews. Because when I do reviews, I want to do reviews about things that I like as well. And I don't like the fact that when I write a review on something and I have a positive opinion on it, it doesn't get as much, nearly the amount of attention as doing something that's negative. So I pivoted to just talking shit. Okay? And there you have it. Right? I also want to go over this. This was in the same thread. I just couldn't find it. Paul, have you ever considered when quite clearly the majority of gamers reject these woke games as seen in the failures of each and every one of these games, that perhaps you may be the one on the wrong side of this? Just ask yourself that one question, then genuinely critically examine your own stance inside. Paul Tassi responds, it is not a clear majority, it's a loud minority. And this nigga's lost the plot. Clown horn of the video goes to Paul Tassi. No game fails purely because it's woke. Not this, not Concord, or whatever you're going to reference. All these games also have real issues separate from all of that, obviously. This is where you misunderstand. Again, Paul Tassi, you're so focused on surface level shit, you can't see the forest for the trees. You're looking at the cover of it, and you're saying, oh, that game didn't fail because people are calling it woke. What we're trying to communicate to you is, the outer shell of it being woke is a symptom of a larger disease. Okay? It's the symptom of a larger disease. When a game comes out or a movie comes out where the message is it seems to be pushed to the forefront, it tells me a lot about the people who work there. It tells me a lot about the temperament and the disposition of the people who are making this game. So when the game comes out and it's bad, the conclusion that the gamers have come to is that because the people who work there are these woke ideological freaks, it pours into the game. Their incompetence pours into the game. Versus when you're seeing these AA studios, who are studios created from the talents that left these AAA studios, doing so well, and they have no messaging in them whatsoever. Gamers do 1 + 1 = 2. Expedition 33 is a prime example of this. How they were former Ubisoft devs, and according to people that's accusing them of being racist, left the company during the whole harassment thing and claims that Ubisoft was going too woke. And then Sandfall Interactive made Expedition 33, and voila, game of the year. Easily game of the year. You're looking too surface level, Paul. You got to think. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. As always, may the grift be with you. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on that notification bell, man. I'll talk to y'all later. Them happy, nappy head niggas with the fingers on the trigger. Don't trust them new niggas over there. Don't trust them.